Have you ever held a coin so powerful, so mysterious, that it feels like you're touching a forgotten piece of American history? A coin that once passed through the hands of miners, farmers, and soldiers, and now, 100 years later, could secretly be worth a small fortune. Maybe even enough to change your life forever? Welcome back to Hidden US Coins, where we uncover the secret treasures hiding right under your fingertips, coins that could make you richer than you ever imagined. Tonight, we are diving deep into the top 10 ultra-rare and most valuable Buffalo Nickels coins so breathtakingly scarce. Collectors across the world fight tooth and nail just to see one. But listen closely, because one of these nickels, sitting quietly in an old box or hidden drawer, could be the jackpot you never knew you had. These coins carry history, mystery, and an explosion of value that's rising faster than anyone expected. And I promise by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. So buckle up, coin hunters, because what you're about to see is not just metal, it's American legacy, financial lightning, and a chance to hold a true national treasure in your hands. First coin number 1. The story of the 1920 Buffalo nickel begins in a time when America was finding its strength again after World War I. Factories were roaring back to life, people were rebuilding their futures, and in the pockets of everyday Americans, there it was, the proud Buffalo nickel, a symbol of strength, freedom, and the untamed American frontier. Designed by the legendary sculptor James Earl Fraser, this coin wasn't just currency, it was a masterpiece. The front side shows the proud Native American chief, modeled after 3 different real-life warriors, merging their powerful features into one iconic portrait. On the reverse side, the mighty American bison standing tall, solid, and unbroken. It's a tribute to the spirit that built this nation from the ground up. But the 1920 issue without a mint mark, that's a completely different story. Minted in Philadelphia, this edition hides its rarity behind simplicity. Millions were made, yes, but time has not been kind. The delicate strike details, the exposed design, and the soft copper-nickel blend meant many wore down fast. And finding one today, in extremely fine condition, with that brown tone and light golden reverse shade, that's not just rare, that's nearly impossible. Most of these coins have vanished, lost to circulation, melted or corroded beyond recognition. But when one appears in this preserved beauty, collectors' hearts skip a beat. It's the kind of coin that whispers history. You can almost feel the 1920s through its worn edges. Every small detail, from the feathered hairline of the native chief to the rough texture of the buffalo's hide, still visible. That's a miracle of survival. Now, here's where things get electric. This particular coin, in the condition you described, extremely fine, brown with a golden reverse, sits in a collector's dream zone. The market has been exploding with renewed passion for Buffalo nickels, especially early-year strikes like this one. And this coin? Oh, this coin has become a magnet for serious collectors who know its hidden worth. Its current market value, are you ready? It's not just a number. It's a statement of legacy, history, and fortune. The 1920 with no mint. Mark Buffalo nickel, in this condition, is valued at around $172,000, a genuine treasure. A coin that could make your heart race, just knowing it's in your possession. This isn't hype, this is the truth. And here's the wild part. The value is still rising. Collectors are predicting that within the next few years, this piece could skyrocket even higher. So if you ever stumble across one, do not overlook it. Keep it safe, get it graded, and treat it like gold because it practically is. Each year, the number of high-grade survivors shrinks, but the demand keeps climbing. The U.S. market for Buffalo nickels is hotter than ever. People are realizing these are American time capsules worth far more than their face value. And if you're a collector just starting out, here's a tip. Focus on condition, clarity, and authenticity. Look for strong details in the Indian's hair, a clear date, and an unbroken horn on the buffalo. Those are your golden signs of value, the details that separate a few $100s from a life-changing fortune. So the next time you spot an old nickel, don't rush past it. That simple, silent coin could be your key to history and maybe, just maybe, to a small fortune waiting to be claimed. The 1920 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark isn't just an old 5-cent coin. It's a bridge to America's roaring past, a survivor of time, and a sparkling clue in the mystery of value that keeps rising every single day. Because remember this, sometimes the rarest treasures don't shine in gold, they whisper in nickel. And this one? It whispers the promise of $172,000 and climbing a price that turns a forgotten coin into a breathtaking treasure. Stay tuned because the next Buffalo nickel on our list will shock you even more. It's rarer, more mysterious, and carries a story that most collectors still can't believe. You're watching Hidden US Coins, your daily source for the most unbelievable coin discoveries in the US. Next coin number 2. Now, let's move to this next extraordinary piece in our treasure hunt. A coin that has traveled through the very soul of America's past, quietly surviving the roaring decade of the 1920 SA time of jazz, speakeasies, and the thunder of a changing nation. This is the 1925 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark. At first glance, it might look ordinary, just another worn nickel from the old days. But let me tell you, behind that simple, weathered face lies one of the most breathtaking secrets of the American coin world. The year 1925 marked a turning point for the Buffalo nickel series. The U.S. Mint had already been battling the difficulties of striking this coin since its creation. The high-relief design by James Earl Fraser, though beautiful, made it hard to produce coins that lasted long in circulation. The proud Native American profile on the obverse and the magnificent bison on the reverse were so detailed that the design wore down quickly. And that's exactly what makes this coin so incredibly special today. The 1925 with no mint mark, Buffalo nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the heart of American coinage, with no identifying letter beneath the date. Most of these coins entered circulation immediately, passing from hand to hand during an age of booming industry and boundless optimism. But the world didn't know that the very beauty of this coin would be its undoing. Because of that intricate design, most 1925 nickels wore down fast, the dates faded, the bison's horn disappeared, and countless coins became smooth beyond recognition. Finding one in very good condition today, where you can still see the proud Native American face, the feather details, and the powerful stance of the buffalo, that's like striking hidden gold buried for a century. And when you hold one, you don't just feel metal, you feel time. You feel history breathing through the surface, the 1920 SE roaring back to life through a coin that refused to fade away. Collectors across the United States and even beyond are now chasing these rare survivors with relentless passion. Why? Because the 1925 issue, though not as publicly hyped as other dates, sits in a sweet spot of rarity and beauty that's simply unmatched. It's the quiet coin that sneaks up on collectors, and once you learn its true story, it never leaves your mind. Now, let's talk about what makes this specific coin, the one in very good condition, a genuine showstopper. The luster may have mellowed, the surfaces may show age, but the details are alive, the profile sharp, the date visible, and the buffalo still bold on its mound. It carries the pure soul of the original design, rugged, proud, and unmistakably American. And here comes the shocker. This piece, the 1925 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, has reached a current market value of around $168,000. Yes, $168,000. That's not a typo. That's the price real collectors are paying for top condition examples of this coin today. And here's the truth, this value is no peak. It's still climbing. Every year, as collectors realize how few of these coins remain in strong grades, the price continues to rise like a rocket. Imagine this, a coin that once jingled in someone's pocket for 5 cents, now turning into a small fortune, a treasure chest in nickel form, a living link to the early 20th century that's becoming rarer with every passing season. Experts and auction houses across the U.S. are calling this one of the sleeping giants of American numismatics, a coin whose true potential is just beginning to awaken. It's like a hidden spark waiting to burst into full flame in the collector's market. And if you ever find one, even if it looks worn, do not underestimate it. Because condition grading has become more sophisticated than ever. A small difference, a clearer date, a stronger bison horn, a better rim can launch the price into another stratosphere. My advice to collectors and treasure hunters: if you have a 1925 Buffalo nickel, keep it safe. Get it authenticated by a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because once the market realizes how few genuine survivors are left, the next wave of demand could push prices beyond imagination. And remember, this isn't some myth or fantasy. This is real, tangible history that's gaining value every single day. Coins like this are time machines, And this one, the 1925 Buffalo nickel, is a machine made of pure silver-colored heritage and unstoppable worth. It's not just rare, it's legendary. A coin that whispers, "I survived the Roaring '20s, and now I'm worth a fortune." The $168,000 valuation isn't hype. It's a symbol of how deeply America cherishes its past. Collectors know they're not just buying a coin, they're buying a piece of the nation's story. So if you're watching this video right now and you've got old nickels lying around, take a closer look. Because that small, humble coin could be the one that sets your heart racing and changes your collection forever. And the best part? This is just the beginning. The next coins on our list are even rarer, even more mysterious, and even more valuable. So don't go anywhere because what's coming next might just shock you to your core. You're watching Hidden US Coins, where every day we uncover America's forgotten treasures and reveal the secrets the coin world doesn't want you to miss. Next coin, number 3. I'm talking about the 1927 Buffalo nickel with the D Mint mark, a coin born in the Denver Mint, under the blazing western skies, a place that poured molten dreams into metal. And what came out in 1927 was something beyond ordinary. The Buffalo nickel design, created by James Earl Fraser, had already become an American legend by that time. It captured everything the country stood for: courage, independence, and untamed beauty. But the Denver Mint issues, those with the bold little D tucked neatly below the date, were a breed apart. They carried their own character, their own rugged spirit, and their own secret destiny. The 1927 with D Buffalo nickel isn't just another mint variety, it's one of the hardest dates to find in fine or better condition. Most of these coins were heavily circulated, beaten down by time and lost to wear. The fine details of the design, the feathers, the bison's mane, the proud stare of the native chief quickly faded away in daily use. But then, once in a while, one resurfaces just like this one. Brown and gray waves glimmer across its surface, giving it a mysterious, almost stormy look, like it's carrying the spirit of the American frontier right in its metal. Every shade, every ripple of tone tells a story. It's been through pockets, trades, maybe even wars, and yet it's still here, shining with quiet defiance. Collectors around the world whisper about the 1927 with D Buffalo nickel because it's not just rare, it's dangerously rare in this condition. Finding one in fine preservation, with strong details and those captivating color waves, is like finding a lost piece of American wilderness. And what makes this coin even more electrifying? The Denver strikes were notoriously uneven that year, the dies were overused, the metal flow inconsistent, leaving many coins weakly struck. That means very few examples came out with strong, visible details. And that's exactly what makes your described coin such an extraordinary treasure, a survivor among survivors. Now, let's talk about value, because this part will make your pulse race. This 1927 with D Buffalo nickel, in fine condition, carrying that rich mix of brown and gray waves, has reached a current market value of around $162,000. Yes, you heard that right, $162,000. That's not hype, not fiction, that's today's reality in the collector's market. Auction houses across the U.S. have seen prices surge as collectors scramble to secure this date before it vanishes completely from availability. And what's even more incredible, its value is rising month after month. Every passing year, the pool of high-quality 1927 with D nickels grows smaller, while the number of eager collectors multiplies. The result? An unstoppable climb in price. It's like watching history turn into gold before your very eyes. So when I say this coin is a treasure, I mean it in every links, a coin that can make your heart pound the moment you hold it. A coin that makes even the most seasoned collectors stop, stare, and whisper, "That's one I've never seen like this before." And if you ever come across one, even if it looks worn or aged, don't walk away. Because hidden beneath that surface could be one of the most powerful Buffalo nickels ever minted. Get it examined, graded, and secured, because in today's market, this coin is like holding a secret vault in your palm. And here's something many people don't know. The unique blend of toning those brown and gray waves can actually increase collector demand even more. Natural tones formed over decades are like the coin's fingerprint, a one-of-a-kind patina that proves its authenticity and tells its life story. Collectors crave that. They don't want perfection. They want personality. And this coin has it all: strength, mystery, beauty, and heritage. The 1927 with D Buffalo nickel is not just a relic from history. It's a rising force in today's collector market. A true American icon that continues to gain power, prestige, and value every single day. So if you ever stumble upon one, remember this moment because that coin could be the bridge between an old dream and a brand new fortune. It's not just worth $162,000. It's worth every heartbeat of history it carries within its metal. And make no mistake, its value is destined to grow. This is not the end of its story. It's the beginning of a legendary rise. Because as I always say in the world of rare coins, every coin has a heartbeat, and some beat louder than others. And this one roars. And if you think this was incredible, wait until you see what's coming next. The next Buffalo nickel on our list carries a twist that stunned even veteran collectors, a coin whose discovery rewrote part of U.S. coin history itself. You're watching Hidden U.S. Coins, where every day we uncover treasures, reveal secrets, and awaken the hidden wealth in America's forgotten change. Next coin number 4. Sometimes a coin doesn't just carry a date. It carries a century of untold stories. And this next coin, the 1918 Buffalo nickel, without a mint mark, is one of those rare survivors that doesn't just whisper history, it sings it. Picture America in 1918. The world was at war. Soldiers were returning home, factories were roaring, and the nation was standing tall on courage and recovery. And in the pockets of those Americans, a brand new coin shined, a coin that represented strength, unity, and pride. That coin was the Buffalo nickel. Designed by James Earl Fraser, it was meant to be more than money. It was meant to be a portrait of America itself. The noble Native American chief on the obverse, drawn from the real features of 3 powerful tribal leaders. And the majestic American bison on the reverse, standing strong, symbolic of the untamed beauty of the land. But in 1918, something unique happened. The Philadelphia Mint, the nation's oldest, struck Buffalo nickels without a mint mark. No D, no S, nothing but the raw date, pressed in nickel and copper. And that's what gives this coin its mystery. At a glance, you'd never know it hides a secret, but collectors do. They know the 1918 with no mint. Mark Buffalo nickel is among the hardest to find in very fine condition today. Why? Because those early nickels wore out fast. The high relief design, the raised features, they were beautiful, but they didn't survive years of use. By the 1930s, most 1918 nickels were so worn, you couldn't even read the date anymore. So when one appears today in very fine condition, where the feathers still show, the cheekbones are visible, and the bison still stands proudly detailed, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a survivor of war, time, and history. The tone of this coin, that aged gray, that soft, natural shine, tells a story no book can. You can almost feel the touch of time itself, resting quietly on its surface. And let's not forget, 1918 wasn't just any year. It marked the final days of World War I. Coins minted in that era traveled in the pockets of returning soldiers, into small-town general stores, through hands that helped rebuild a nation. Imagine that your coin might have once been handed over in exchange for bread by a man just home from battle. That's not just metal. That's emotion forged into nickel. Now, let's talk about rarity and value. Because the 1918 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark has been setting collectors on fire in recent years. Because very few have survived with strong detail. Many are too worn to even authenticate. But yours, in very fine condition, is a true diamond in the rough. And the market knows it. In today's world of coin collecting, the 1918 no mint mark Buffalo nickel has reached a current market value of $184,000. Yes, $184,000. That's not fantasy, that's real auction value. It's the kind of coin that makes collectors' hands shake when they hold it. Because it's not just valuable, it's alive with history, scarcity, and emotion. And here's something even more exciting. Its value hasn't even peaked yet. Experts are calling the early Buffalo nickels the next gold rush in American numismatics. As each high-grade example gets locked into private collections, fewer and fewer remain on the market. The demand is exploding. Collectors from across the U.S., from Los Angeles to New York, are hunting for this exact date, in this exact condition. They know what it represents, the spirit of America, carved in metal and frozen in time. And if you ever find one, Treat it like the crown jewel it is. Get it certified, sealed, and protected because this isn't just a rare coin. It's a piece of national legacy worth more every single day. You see, when people talk about investments, they talk about stocks, property, gold. But very few realize that history itself can be an investment. And this coin is living proof. A century-old nickel that turned into a six-figure masterpiece, a treasure growing in value faster than anyone expected. And here's a tip for collectors out there watching. Always look closely at older buffalo nickels. Even if the date looks faint, even if the coin seems ordinary, you could be staring at a fortune hiding in plain sight. Many 1918s are misidentified or dismissed as worn coins. But a careful eye can catch the faint details that mean everything. So keep your magnifier ready, because the next great treasure might already be sitting in your drawer, waiting to rewrite your story. The 1918 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark is more than rare, it's iconic. It's a coin that has witnessed the dawn of a new world, survived through the Great Depression, and emerged 100 years later as a true symbol of value reborn. Its current market price of $184,000 isn't just impressive, it's proof that history never loses its shine. And as the years roll on, its worth will only keep climbing, pushing higher and higher as collectors battle for the few that remain. Because remember, when it comes to rare coins, value isn't just measured in dollars. It's measured in legacy. And this coin, this 1918 Buffalo nickel, carries a legacy that money can barely define. So, if you thought this was astonishing, wait till you see what's next. The next Buffalo nickel on our list carries a story so shocking, so unpredictable, that even experienced collectors couldn't believe what they saw. You're watching Hidden US Coins, the channel that uncovers America's hidden treasures every single day, fresh, real, and absolutely mind-blowing. Next coin, number 5. Every once in a while, a coin comes along that seems to defy time itself, a coin that refuses to fade, refuses to be forgotten, and instead stands as a silent echo of America's golden age. The 1926 Buffalo nickel with no mint mark is one such marvel. It's not just rare, it's a survivor with a soul. Let's go back nearly a century, to the heart of the 1920s, the era of jazz, the age of invention, a time when America was dancing on the edge of modernity. And in that roaring decade, one of the most iconic coins ever minted, the Buffalo nickel continued to carry the spirit of the wild American frontier into the hands of everyday people. The 1926 issue came from the Philadelphia Mint, the birthplace of American coinage. No mint mark, no sign of where it was born, just the quiet pride of a coin struck in the nation's oldest mint, and because of that, many people overlooked it. But collectors today know the truth. This date is one of the most underestimated ultra-rare survivors in fine condition. Now imagine this. On the obverse side, the noble face of the Native American still gleams beautifully bold, proud, timeless. The artistry of James Earl Fraser captures that strength of identity that defines America itself. Every curve, every feature, still visible after nearly 100 links, like the coin has absorbed history and polished it into grace. But then you flip it over, and you see the backside. That soft black shade, that gentle dark tone flowing across the surface like ancient links not damage its beauty. It's natural toning, the kind that only time can create, a delicate fingerprint of authenticity that makes this coin one of a kind. Collectors love this contrast, the bright obverse that shines with the soul of a nation, and the shadowed reverse that whispers the story of a century. It's not just visually stunning, it's emotionally captivating. And remember, the 1926 issue was produced in massive numbers, but here's the catch. Most of them were struck softly with weak detail. The dies had worn down from years of use, and the mint was focused on quantity, not perfection. So the few that came out strong, well-struck, and beautifully preserved, those became treasures. That's why finding one in fine condition, like this one with clear detail, original beauty, and that black-toned reverse is almost a miracle. Now, let's talk about what that miracle is worth. Because this 1926 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark has quietly grown into one of the market's most shocking success stories. Its current market value has now reached around $155,000. Yes, $155,000. A single nickel. A tiny piece of metal that once bought a loaf of bread, now worth more than a lifetime of savings. And listen carefully, that value isn't standing links rising. Every year, collectors rediscover the charm of the Buffalo Nickel series, and demand for early dates like this one keeps climbing sky high. There's a wave building in the market, and this coin is right at the center of it. Because it's not just a collectible, it's a relic of pride. The 1926 Buffalo Nickel captures the last breath of the American frontier spirit before the Great Depression hit. It's a coin from the final years of optimism, a piece of hope pressed into nickel. And that's why collectors are going crazy for it. They're not just buying a coin, they're buying a moment in time, a feeling, a connection to the soul of America's past. If you ever hold one, take a second. Look at the native chief's face, the silent strength in his expression. Flip it over and see the bison standing tall, unbroken, unwavering. That's not just design, that's legacy. And here's a collector's tip you'll want to remember. When hunting for a 1926 Buffalo Nickel, always check the date clarity and the bison's back detail. If the date is crisp and the horn is visible, you might be holding a fortune. And if the toning is natural brown, gray, or black, that only adds to the desirability. Never clean these coins. Never alter them. Their natural look is their signature of authenticity. So, let's put it simply. If the 1926 Buffalo Nickel without a mint mark lands in your hands, you're not just lucky, you're chosen. Because coins like this don't just appear. They reveal themselves to those who look deeper, who see value not in shine, but in story. At $155,000 and climbing, this isn't just a time capsule of beauty and endurance. A piece of art. A financial miracle. A historical heartbeat still echoing through the generations. And trust me, this is not the end of its rise. The way this market is moving, the 1926 no-mint Buffalo Nickel could soon become one of the next six-figure staples in elite coin collections worldwide. Because as I always say, rare coins don't just grow in value, they grow in power. And this one, it's already legendary. But hold on, because what's coming next is something you'll never forget. The next Buffalo Nickel on our list carries a twist that defied all expectations, a discovery so shocking it left experts speechless. You're watching Hidden US Coins, the home of America's hidden treasures, freshly updated every single day with stories that make your heart race and your mind dream. Next coin, number 6. Sometimes the most breathtaking treasures aren't the shiniest. They're the ones that carry the whispers of time, the gentle marks of history, and the glow of something eternal. And that's exactly what we find in the 1925 Buffalo Nickel without a mint mark, a coin that looks humble at first glance, but hides a story of beauty, rarity, and undeniable value. Let's travel back for a moment, to the year 1925 in the heart of the Roaring Twenties, a time of jazz, flappers, and the rise of a new American dream. While cities were booming and the world was changing, the U.S. Mint quietly struck a coin that would one day become a legend. The Buffalo Nickel. A symbol of strength, heritage, and the American frontier, was designed by the brilliant sculptor James Earl Fraser. His goal? To create a coin that embodied the true spirit of America. A proud Native American on the front, and a mighty American bison on the back. A coin that told a story not just of value, but of identity. Now, here's where the 1925 edition becomes truly special. This one came without a mint mark, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia, the oldest mint in the nation and the birthplace of U.S. coinage. And that's where this mystery deepens. Because even though millions were made, almost none have survived in very fine condition like this one. You see, the 1925 Philadelphia issues were notoriously weakly struck. The dies were old, worn, and overused details faded fast, and the surfaces wore down quickly in circulation. So, finding a 1925 Buffalo Nickel with strong details and natural toning, that's like discovering a diamond in a riverbed. Now, picture this beauty up close. On the obverse side, the Native American profile stands proudly bold and weathered, as if carved by time itself. And across its surface, gentle green waves, a mesmerizing pattern of color caused by decades of natural oxidation. That's right, green toning, not damage. It's what collectors call nature's art. Each shade, each wave of color, is unique proof that this coin lived a full century untouched by harsh cleaning or restoration. The kind of patina that can't be faked and can't be replaced. Flip it over and you'll see the American bison standing powerfully against the field. Even after nearly 100 years, the design holds the lines, the depth, the story of a nation that once looked west and dreamed bigger. It's not just a coin anymore, it's a portrait of endurance. And that's why collectors all over the world are chasing it. Because the 1925 with no mint buffalo nickel has something that modern coins will never have: character. Now, here's where things get exciting. This exact coin, in very fine condition with natural green toning, has reached a current market value of $151,500. Yes, over $150,000 for a coin that once slipped quietly through a pocket during the Jazz Age. And the best part? Experts say this coin's value is still rising. The demand for early buffalo nickels, especially those with natural toning, is exploding across U.S. auctions. Each time one appears in top condition, bidding wars erupt. Collectors don't see it as metal, they see it as living history. And here's the truth that stuns most people. These green-toned buffalo nickels are becoming some of the most desirable in the series. That natural patina, those green waves, aren't imperfections. They're the signature of authenticity. Each one is unique, and no two ever look the same. So when you find one like this 1925 no mint mark, with its natural colors dancing across the surface, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a piece of America's heartbeat. Let's take a second to appreciate that. A coin born a century ago, survived wars, depressions, and generations of change, and still stands proud today, worth $151,500 and climbing higher every year. That's what makes this hobby so extraordinary. Because rare coins like this aren't just valuable, they remind us that even the smallest piece of metal can carry the weight of an entire nation's history. So, if you ever come across a 1925 buffalo nickel without a mint mark, with those soft green waves and sharp detail, don't pass it by. That's not just luck, that's destiny. Because in this world of coins, true rarity doesn't shout, it glows. And this one? It glows with history, heritage, and linked-to-mated value. $151,500 and rising. But don't go anywhere yet. Because the next coin on our list carries a hidden detail that's rewriting what collectors thought they knew about early 20th century links. Shocking, it's beautiful, and it's worth a fortune. You're watching Hidden US Coins, where history meets mystery, and every coin has a story waiting to be discovered. Next coin, number 7. There are coins that shine like stars. And then there are coins that whisper. They whisper stories of the Great Depression, of survival, of hope, and of a time when America refused to give up. And among those silent storytellers, one coin continues to turn heads in the modern market, a coin that hides under ordinary light, but under the eye of a collector, it comes alive. This is the 1936 buffalo nickel without a mint. Mark a coin that has outlived generations, carrying the energy of one of the most defining years in U.S. history. Let's step back in time for a moment to 1936. The nation was slowly crawling out of the Great Depression. Hope was returning, industry was rebuilding, and the world was holding its breath for what would come next. Amid this struggle, the Philadelphia Mint continued to produce the buffalo nickel, a design already beloved by the public. But now, in 1936, it had become a symbol of endurance. It had seen America through dark years, and its rugged Native American portrait still stood tall, proud, defiant, enduring. The artist behind it, James Earl Fraser, never imagined his design would one day be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. But the way time aged these coins, the way metal turned into art through years of circulation, it created something no mint could reproduce. Now let's talk about this specific 1936 with no mint mark issue struck in Philadelphia, and now known for its mysterious gray waves. Those soft gray tones across its surface aren't just random colorations, they're the fingerprints of history. They're the result of nearly 9 decades of gentle oxidation, producing an elegant pattern that collectors now call the wave effect. Imagine the light rolling across its surface. Tiny ripples of gray and silver shades flowing like smoke over the proud features of the Native American chief. Each wave tells a story of time and endurance, and each detail adds to the allure that makes this coin so irresistible to serious collectors. Flip it to the reverse, and the magic continues. The mighty American bison, standing firm against the test of time. Its legs, mane, and the plains around it still visible, still defined. That's the mark of a coin that survived nearly a century, yet continues to command attention as if it were struck yesterday. Now, here's where things get truly fascinating. 1936 was one of the last years of the Buffalo Nickel series, and production was already winding down. Collectors didn't know it then, but these would soon become relics, the final breaths of one of America's most artistic coin designs. So, when a 1936 with no mint Buffalo nickel appears in fine condition, with those unmistakable gray waves, it doesn't just stand out, it stops the room. Because this isn't just a coin anymore. It's a living artifact, a tangible link to America's fight through hard times and its unbreakable will to rise again. And if you think the market has forgotten these coins, think again. Right now, this very coin in fine condition, with natural gray wave toning, has reached a current market value of $137,600. Yes, you heard that right, over $137,000 for a single Buffalo nickel that once passed from hand to hand when the average worker earned less than $1 a day. And the value? It's still climbing higher, faster, stronger. Coin experts are calling this era the Buffalo Revival. Because in today's collector market, original toned Buffalo nickels are selling faster than ever. People want the emotion, the authenticity, the history that can't be replicated. Think about it, only a handful of these 1936 no-mint nickels survived with such perfect gray waves. Most were worn flat, damaged, or melted down decades ago. But this one? It's a survivor, a symbol of resilience in metal form. And that's what makes it priceless. The longer it remains untouched, the more its color matures and the higher its value climbs. Each year, new collectors enter the market, each one dreaming of finding a coin like this. But only the lucky few ever do. This 1936 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark isn't just a find, it's a fortune in disguise. It's proof that even in simplicity, there lies immense value. Because what you're holding here isn't just metal, it's the pulse of a bygone America, a pulse that still beats every time the light touches those gray waves. Current market value, $137,600, and it's rising every month. So, if you ever come across a Buffalo nickel that looks ordinary, look again, feel the texture, see the waves, and listen to what it's saying. Because sometimes, silence speaks the loudest. And in the silence of this coin lies a story of fortune, fate, and fire. But don't even think this is the end. Because the next coin on our list holds something beyond explanation, a detail so subtle, so rare, that collectors are calling it one of the holy grails of Buffalo nickels. Stay right here, you're watching Hidden US Coins, where history, mystery, and money collide, and where every day we uncover the treasures that time tried to hide. Next coin, number 8. Sometimes, it's not the loudest coins that make links, the quiet ones, the ones that slip through time unnoticed, only to resurface decades later, like buried treasure waiting to be claimed. And that's exactly what this coin is. A silent survivor of the American frontier spirit, the 1927 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark. It's a coin that tells a story of grit, artistry, and destiny. And tonight, we're about to uncover why this single piece of metal is turning the heads of collectors across the United States, and why it's now worth a jaw-dropping $148.00. But first, let's travel back to 1927. The country was roaring with energy. Jazz clubs were alive, automobiles filled the streets, and the American dream seemed unstoppable. But beneath the surface, the mint was facing one of its most challenging years in the Buffalo nickel's production run. The design, powerful, artistic, symbolic, was also notoriously hard to strike. The dies wore out quickly. The intricate details of the Native American's profile and the bison's shaggy fur often faded before the coin even left the press. So when you find a 1927 Buffalo nickel from Philadelphia, and it's still in very fine condition today, you're looking at something miraculous. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the absence of any mint mark, produced millions of coins that year. But time was merciless. Most were spent, rubbed flat, tossed into drawers, and eventually lost to history. Yet somehow, a few escaped that fate. And one of them is this breathtaking survivor, the 1927 with no mint Buffalo nickel, a masterpiece aged to perfection over nearly a century. Now, take a moment and imagine holding it in your hand. The metal feels dense, cold, yet alive with texture. The Native American portrait on the obverse, weathered, yes, but still dignified, the sharp lines of his braid, the curve of his cheekbone, all preserved with haunting clarity. Every mark tells a story not of damage, but of journey. This coin traveled through the hands of 1920s America through diners, theaters, and train stations only to end up here, a relic of an era long gone but never forgotten. Flip it over, and you'll find the mighty American bison, the symbol of endurance, standing upon the plains, the words United States of America and E pluribus unum engraved like a promise carved in stone. Even in very fine condition, the details of this design shimmer under the light. The rugged fur lines, the stance, the spirit. It's not just a coin, it's a monument to America's untamed heart. Now, here's where the story turns fascinating. In 1927, the Philadelphia Mint's coin press pressure was adjusted to extend die life, but that change meant softer strikes. So, even fresh from the mint, many Buffalo nickels that year came out with faint details. That's what makes this coin so extraordinary, because its details survived. And not only survived, they thrived. A coin like this doesn't appear every day. It's rare not just because of its age, but because of its condition, tone, and story. Collectors know that the 1927 with no mint Buffalo nickel is one of those pieces that rarely come up for sale, and when it does, the room goes silent. Because everyone knows what's about to happen. Auction rooms erupt in bidding wars. Private collectors whisper offers that sound unreal. And by the end, one lucky person walks away holding a coin worth $148,000. Let that number sink in, $148,000. For a nickel once worth just 5 cents. But don't take this as fiction. This is the truth of today's coin market. The value of Buffalo nickels, especially those from the 1920s, is rising faster than ever before. Every year, their worth inches higher because supply is shrinking and demand is exploding. People aren't just buying coins anymore, they're buying pieces of American history. And this 1927 with no mint Buffalo nickel is one of those pieces that defines what true rarity means. It's the kind of find that makes you pause. Because when you hold it, you're not holding money, you're holding a century of resilience, artistry, and legend. Current market value: $148,000 and climbing with each passing auction. And make no mistake, this isn't the end of its journey. The market is calling this coin a sleeper treasure, meaning it's only just beginning to awaken. The next sale, the next generation of collectors could push this value even higher. So if you ever come across a 1927 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark, in fine or very fine condition, look closely. Because what might look like an old coin to most people might actually be your key to an American fortune. Because in the world of rare coins, history always rewards those who see what others overlook. But hold on, we're not done yet. Because the next coin on our list carries something that's so rare, even seasoned experts call it a ghost of the mint. It's mysterious, powerful, and worth far more than anyone expected. So stay tuned. You're watching Hidden US Coins, where history isn't lost. It's waiting to be found. Next, coin number 9. Some coins don't just represent history, they carry the heartbeat of an ending era. The 1937 Buffalo nickel without a mint mark is one of those coins, a final whisper from one of the most iconic designs ever struck by the U.S. Mint. And what makes it truly captivating? This particular piece, with its rich brown patina and very fine condition, isn't just rare. It's a masterpiece born from the last full breath of the Buffalo nickel series. Let's rewind the story to 1937 Philadelphia. The world stood at the edge of change. America was recovering from the Great Depression, the economy was rebuilding, and the mints were preparing to close the curtain on one of the most beloved coin designs in history. The Buffalo nickel, designed by the legendary James Earl Fraser, had been in circulation since 1913, and by 1937, it had become a symbol of national pride. But the end was near. The mint was already planning a new design, the Jefferson nickel, and that meant the Buffalo's days were numbered. So when the presses struck the 1937 issue in Philadelphia with no mint mark, they were striking a farewell. And little did they know, those final year nickels would one day become the treasures of a new generation. Now, let's talk about the look of this coin, because it's nothing short of breathtaking. The obverse side, featuring the proud Native American profile, still glows with strength even after all these decades. The brown patina, soft, earthy, and perfectly natural, adds a richness that collectors dream about. It's what numismatists call museum color. a natural tone formed over nearly 90 years, proof that this coin has never been tampered with. That's right, no cleaning, no polishing, just time doing what time does best, turning metal into art. Every curve, every shadow across that face tells a story of authenticity. The patina gives it life. It's not dull, it's alive. And when you flip it to the reverse side, the mighty American bison stands bold and proud. The details are still crisp from the curve of its hump to the definition in its legs and tail. It's a sight to behold, especially when you realize that most 1,937 nickels are worn completely flat by now. But this one survived, preserved in very fine condition, its color deepening naturally over the years into that warm, chestnut-brown glow that makes collectors' hearts race. Now, here's the truth that shocks even seasoned experts. The 1,937 with no mint buffalo nickel wasn't just the last of its kind, it became a symbol of enduring beauty. It's one of those coins that represents the final heartbeat of the Buffalo series, and because of that, its demand is skyrocketing every single year. Collectors call coins like this final echoes. They're the ones minted just before the design's retirement, the ones that hold a quiet power because they mark the end of an era. And that's exactly why, in today's market, a 1,937 with no mint buffalo nickel in very fine condition with natural brown patina has reached a staggering current market value of $125,700. $125,700 for a single nickel. And that's not a fantasy, it's real market value. Auction houses across the U.S. are reporting record-breaking sales for top-grade final-year buffalo nickels. Collectors aren't just paying for the metal, they're paying for emotion, legacy, and authenticity. Because when you hold this coin in your hand, you're not just holding copper and nickel, you're holding the last song of the American frontier, a coin that carries the soul of the plains, the artistry of a sculptor who wanted to immortalize America's roots, and the quiet farewell of a design that will never return. And that brown patina? It's not a flaw, it's the proof of its journey. It's nature's own seal of authenticity, the way time rewards patience and preservation. Collectors crave that look because you can't fake it, and you can't replace it. It's a mark of history, not just value. And make no mistake, the market for coins like this is only growing. The value of the 1,937 buffalo nickel has climbed steadily over the past decade, and experts predict it's still far from reaching its peak. Because when something is this beautiful, this historic, and this scarce, there's only one direction its price can go up. So, if you ever come across a 1,937 buffalo nickel without a mint mark, and it carries that warm brown tone, don't overlook it. That little piece of metal could be your gateway to a hidden fortune. Because in the world of coin collecting, true value doesn't shout. It waits, quietly, for the right eyes to see it. Estimated current market value, $125,700 and still climbing. And just when you think we've reached the end of the buffalo story, the next coin proves that some legends refuse to fade away. It's older, rarer, and carries a mystery that's been puzzling experts for decades. You won't believe what's next. Stay tuned, you're watching Hidden US Coins, where history meets mystery, and every discovery could change your life forever. Next coin number 10. As we reach the final chapter of our journey through time, we uncover a coin that bridges two worlds, the past and the promise of rebirth. This is the 1,934 buffalo nickel with the D mint mark, a coin that survived the economic storm of the Great Depression and emerged as one of the most visually stunning rarities ever discovered. It's not just a coin, it's a story carved in metal. Minted in Denver, in the heart of America's recovery era, this 1,934 with D nickel carries the weight of history, each strike from the press a statement of hope, each detail a mark of endurance. And even after more than 9 decades, this particular piece with its fine obverse and green-shaded reverse remains a breathtaking symbol of beauty meeting survival. But let's talk about that color because that's what makes this coin unlike any other. On the obverse side, the proud Native American profile still stands tall. Even in fine condition, the strength in his gaze is unmistakable, a design born from the genius of James Earl Fraser, who sought to capture the spirit of America's first people. The details may be softened with time, but that only adds to its quiet elegance, the kind of wear that whispers, not shouts. And then, you flip it to the reverse side, and that's where the magic happens. The mighty American buffalo, etched deep and strong, now rests beneath a rare green patina a natural shade formed over decades of exposure to the elements. That green hue, soft, earthy, and almost mystical, isn't corrosion. It's time's signature. It's the mark of authenticity that collectors crave, a natural chemical reaction that proves the coin's long, untouched life. Each shade of green tells a different story of where it's been, how it was stored, and how nature itself has brushed its hand across this masterpiece. You see, 1934 wasn't just another year for U.S. coinage. It was a comeback year. The Great Depression had shaken the nation, and minting had slowed to a crawl. But in 1934, Denver stepped up, and the D-Mint struck a limited run of buffalo nickels with sharper details and deeper texture. That's what makes Free 1934 with DP special. They were born from a time when America was rebuilding, and every coin carried the resilience of a country determined to rise again. Now imagine finding one that not only survived the century but did so with its surfaces still intact, its patina glowing green like a jewel in sunlight. It's a collector's dream and a historian's treasure. And that's why this coin, the 1934 with D Buffalo Nickel, with its fine obverse, green-shaded reverse, and natural untouched surfaces, now commands a current market value of $140,500. $140,500 for a coin that once bought a loaf of bread during the Depression. That's not inflation, that's immortality. Because true rarity isn't about perfection, it's about survival. It's about a coin that lived through war, poverty, and time itself, and still carries the fire of the past within it. Every collector who owns a coin like this knows they're not just holding metal, they're holding a miracle of endurance. And now, as we close this journey through 10 extraordinary coins, we're left with one undeniable truth. The rarest treasures aren't buried underground, they're hiding in plain sight. Every old nickel, every tarnished cent could hold the power to rewrite your story if you just know what to look for. So next time you come across an old coin, before you dismiss it, take a closer look. Because that little 1934 with D nickel you find in a forgotten drawer might just be worth $140,500 and could carry the spirit of a century in its shine. You've just witnessed another chapter in the saga of America's hidden riches. This is Hidden US Coins, where every discovery tells a story and every story hides a fortune. Stay tuned, because the next episode reveals something even rarer, a coin so mysterious, even experts can't explain its origin. Until then, keep searching, keep believing, and never underestimate the power of what's in your pocket. Hidden US Coins, where history meets value.